Okay, good morning. It is about 1 o'clock, 10:10 a.m. on the 12th or the 11th. Oh, I think the 11th of September 2014. Okay, my name's Isaac David Brigman, which y'all should already know by now, but I'm going to do, I do a lot of in a roundabout way, virtual reality type things, where I actually run a church on the internet, not on Facebook, and not Facebook. Well, somewhat on Facebook, I guess you could say. What it is I do a church services on YouTube, and then I take and have a page on Facebook is what I meant to say. But anyway, I'm doing another thing now where when I talk, imagine that I am a newspaper and I am telling you in the newspaper my article that I do. So it's like a virtual reality newspaper article that I write with my mouth. So what you hear me say in the next so many minutes will be like a virtual reality newspaper article written by me. Okay. Okay, today's article will be about the president. Okay. Well, readers or listeners, however you like to use your imagination, I'd like to say that our president is I guess in his own right, is a good man. Good in the sense of he probably has his moments where he says things that are like, okay, yeah, you're a friendly guy. Okay, I'll give you that on that subject. But when you hear about the way golf courses or golf course treats him on his attitude towards his lax behavior on the worlds, because on world or worlds, however you may want to put it, you think about it. You say, well, every country is supposed to work together in a chain or a circle. And they're supposed to be able to not only work in that chain or circle, but do it in a manner that says, hey, you terrorists out there, you don't belong in this world. You belong in the world as people, but not as terrorists. So, why is it that we sit there and have a president that will say, whoa, I think we got a problem here, but I'm not going to deal with it because I know that one little missing piece of the puzzle or the circle or the chain and the whole thing falls apart. So basically this link or this piece of the puzzle or part of a circle is kind of damaged because it basically is damaged by the fact that we have a president in the United States that will not do his part. I bet you Queen Elizabeth will do her part and Prince Charles will do his part. I bet you I don't know about South Korea and North Korea and all them. I believe they will too. I hopefully hope so. But the point is, and Russia. Don't worry about what you did or didn't do crime-wise. Worry about getting your ducks in a row and saying, look, we got to work with the world because the world is trying to say there are still folks in this world that do want to and do still have power to stop stuff like this. So why don't we just put down all the guilt trips we want to put on people and say, look, yeah, I know I'm for God, and I know that might make some mad, but I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I believe in making somebody mad for nothing. And what gets me, and if y'all have any topics you'd like me to bring up in these virtual reality newspaper columns or articles, then let me know and I'll tell you, I'll talk about them. But I've learned in my 33 years on earth, which that's not very long, it's only 33 years, that yeah, I've been through things. I'm not the best man in the world. I'm not the worst man in the world. But I will say this, the better man's God. But God is not put in his place anymore. He's been dethroned a lot of times when people don't want to look at him like he's the one that was supposed to. The actual King of England was God. The actual President of the United States was God. The actual Sheikh was God. The actual, whatever name you give your ruler, he was really supposed to be God. But y'all lost that. Because I thought, I thought that every country we had was supposed to be God's country, not some other person's country. And I also thought that England, look, wasn't some of your principles the same as ours? God, come on. I love y'all. I love the whole world. I want to be able to meet y'all and come to terms and say, look, you people are no different than we are, except for the fact that you have a culture and you have a language. But as a person, we're almost the same internally. You have a self that needs to decide where it belongs in religion, where it belongs in culture, where it belongs in life. You have an internal self that is the real you. Your internal self is what makes you what you are. If you can't let it rule you, then where do you stand? You're letting the outer self, letting the costume, this thing you see in the mirror, you let it rule you. You don't let the internal you rule you. You don't let God rule you. I thought that God made you, and He said that you must obey God and the internal self, and that the internal self should be a disciple, an apostle of God, and that it should listen to God and do what God said to control the whole you. But a lot of us don't want to think that. They want to think, I can go out there and do what I want to and get away with anything. Can you get away with murder? No, you go to jail. Get away with rape? No, you go to jail. So, you, in another sense of the word, you don't get away with nothing. But you people sit there and say, you get away with anything. You get away with anything. And you don't get away with anything, because if you did get away with anything, you wouldn't have to hear people talking like crazy anymore. I know I'm off on a tangent about God, but the point is, that's what solves a lot of your problems, or all your problems. Actually, it solves all your problems. If you want to really think about it, God. But people think that God don't belong in our schools, God don't belong in our politics, God don't belong in nothing anymore. Excuse me, why are you throwing God out with? It's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So basically, you're going to throw. Be like saying you throw out the bathwater, you keep the bathtub, the bathwater and the baby goes too. So basically, in this case, throw out all practical concept of education, which means throw out honest understanding of the world, honest education, and throw out God in the process. Throw out all the good that George Washington and Abraham Lincoln made in our schools, in our governments, our politics, in our churches. Think about it. We had founding fathers that did take God seriously. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and a few other folks. And you think, what did they stand for? What did they do? And also, I'm directing this also to dead people. Hey, Robert E. Lee, I'm not mad at you for what you've done. I still like going around telling my speech that brings you up instead of put you down. I say if it wasn't for you, this whole Civil War would keep on going. It would keep on going. So I see it like this. Don't be anywhere dead or alive and put a guilt trip on your head. Say, hey, look at me. If I hadn't surrendered, this whole war would have kept on going. And we would have never seen the end. And our future would have been like this. Today, we would have had a civil war that would have went on for years and months and days and weeks. And it would have been nowadays, it would have been over in no time flat, because the whole world would have been ended. Because some northerner or southerner would have come up with some rocket launching thing and blowed the mess out of the other one. And I like the way the world is today. We don't always still get along, but we try. But what I'm getting at is, let's pray, folks, for our presidents. Let's pray for our people, because I don't see it getting any better right now, but I can see it getting better in the future if we get a guy in the White House that would take it seriously. Don't laugh at me. Don't joke at me and say, you're a silly man because you believe in something. Say, you're a good man because you believe in something. So my advice to you folks is, before you go to bed and when you get up, sometime before you go to bed, sometime when you get up, it don't matter if it's from breakfast or lunch or whenever it is, sometime in your daily routine, add some prayer in there. Put some prayer in there, because if you don't, you're going to look back at it and wish you had of. Don't look back at it and wish you just said some things to God and to Jesus through prayer. So, I know this might sound ridiculous what I'm saying, but I just get this funny feeling that, with the way that, look at government. Look at our government. Our president would rather worry about raising, lowering taxes, want to worry more about the insurance, like the Obamacare, want to worry about everything like this, but yet they turn around and say that that's more important than, and you say, did he literally say that? Well, no, he didn't literally say it, but what he said is that basically what he was saying was he figures that those things are more important than trying to worry about his place in stopping that ISIS issue. Well, folks, if this stuff is more important than the ISIS, can't say it straight, the ISIS issue, then we're in a mess, because I thought that America was the go-to guy on certain issues. I thought America was the one that these countries screamed, help us. And we say, sure, we'll help you. I thought that's what we were. I thought that's who we were. But apparently today, we're the guy that gets laughed at because our president decides that our finances is more important than trying to save the world. I mean, what if we had every country trying to stop these people, but America is out of the picture because our president decides play golf is more important, go to Hawaii is more important, raise or lower our taxes, or whatever, finances, regardless of insurance, taxes, jobs. You got people losing jobs in America. You got people gaining jobs in America in crazy ways. You got people having tax issues. You got all kinds of issues, and yet those are important. Don't get me wrong, but do we want to say those are the only issues, or do we want to say those are issues along with the issues of the world? If there's no world to live in, then basically there is no need to worry about homelessness, joblessness. People got jobs, people don't have jobs, people have homes, don't have homes, people have money, people don't have money. That anything to do with the president or the government would mean nothing if there's no world to live in. And God's supposed to be the one to wipe the world out if he wants to, not man. Man should not have any way of being able to, or even want to for that matter. I'm not a good man, but I don't sit there and say, I think I'll wipe the world out today. Poof, it's over with. And I've killed myself too. That's another thing people don't think of. They want to wipe out